just to be able to make those reads off the jump. So I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress, but making little adjustments.
As good as you were offensively tonight, I thought you were also terrific defensively. How was this maybe one of your best all-around games as a Utah Jazz man?
Yeah, I think I always find something to work on, and I don't think it was that great defensively. I think I gave a couple buckets and got
too humble.
Better. So you always find stuff that you can do better. But I mean, I'm just happy we got back on the winning track, and so now we just got to get going.
You know, All-Star voting open today.
Humble.
I know Utah Jazz are pushing you to be an All-Star. How does it translate for you that maybe you should be in that conversation?
I mean, it's a blessing just to be in the conversation, but I mean, I'm working on my game every day, and like be working with my teammates every day. So I hope I make it, but I mean, it motivates me every day just to come out and play your best every night, even though so it might be a little tough sometimes, but that kind of keeps you trying to play at the highest level. So it's really motivating for me.
Beautiful basketball tonight, Lauri. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Holly, thank you, and congratulations. Lauri Markkanen ties his career high in points and a new career high with 9 threes made.
Story of the night, Mr. All-Star, baby. Ties his career high with 38 points. Shoots 69% from the three-point line. And goes 9 for 13. Really impressive game by Lauri. You could kind of tell from last night's game against Cleveland that he had a little extra juice. And I think him not getting the win and kind of getting blown out the last two games, it was something that was about ready to boil over, and tonight was that night. I think I want to say he's starting to understand what he's capable of. Like, it really feels like he's starting to come out of his shell. He realizes he's the best player on the team. I also don't think that it hurt that All-Star voting started today. I tagged him in my Twitter post saying, vote for Lauri. I really think he's going to make the All-Star team with the numbers and the performance he's been having. I want to welcome you guys in. We have quite a few listeners that are on Twitter Spaces. If you're wanting to join us, to join the podcast, join on Twitter Spaces. I'm streaming live on YouTube right now, so if somebody wants to go over and check that, I know, Kevin, you're usually my guy.
Are you actually streaming today?
It says streaming, man. It says streaming, so
Let me check.
I've got a cool new overlay. But yeah, it looks like the Jazz, I had some things to do, so didn't get to watch the whole game in its entirety, but we laid down the wood on one of the worst defensive teams in the league. Really, we needed to do something like this to gain our confidence back. The last two games with the blowouts, it took a toll as a fan, for me at least. I don't know about everyone else, but just not losing games like we were supposed to, but also being close in games. I had thoughts, man, maybe the team's starting to realize that we're not that good. I think we played two really great defensive teams, though, in those blowouts, and that justifies it a little bit. As far as on the other side, you had Jaden Ivey lead the Detroit Pistons. He's a great player. Would love to have him. I know Bogey didn't have the best night, but, man, I always miss Bogey. I just thought he was a guy that always came and worked hard, didn't make a fuss about too much, wasn't in the spotlight a ton, but was a really important piece. And they're talking like he's going to be traded, and they might have an asset there if they're not going to keep him. So it'd be interesting to see if something goes down and he lands on a team that might be able to compete.
Maybe you should send him back to us.
So, dude, I will send him Olynyk back. I'll give it back.
Yes,
or
please.
maybe they'll take Vando.
We don't want Bogey.
honestly, it was a
Shut your mouth. Yes, I do. No, we don't. He doesn't fit what we're doing.
yeah. I just like the guy.
I don't care. I want Bogey back.
Yeah, I think he's an asset. Like he's got to be more. If we could get the right trade, it's not going to happen though. It's not going to happen. Vanderbilt has a good night tonight. This guy just really seems like hit or miss. Like he's either has a good game or it's like, why is he on the floor? 18 points, plus minus 17. He has 9 rebounds, lead the team in rebound. Oh no, sorry, 13 rebounds, 9 defensive rebounds, 6 assists. He tied Jordan Clarkson for assists. Mike Conley led the team with 7. He also led the team in steals, him and Rudy Gay. And Walker Kessler comes in with another 2 blocks, 10 points. In how many minutes did you play here, Walker? 27. So I want to.
So good, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass the mic over. We're gonna go to Tevin first. Give us your thoughts, man. Go ahead.
So I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of drifting in and out. I've been really tired the last few days with work and everything. But from the majority of the game that I did watch, I agree. The Lauri was just absolutely killing it tonight. This was definitely a realizing that he's really, really good and deserves to be an all-star. Even though I know he'd be would be humble about it and say that he obviously doesn't care and he's just going to play, but he obviously deserves it. Walker Kessler was absolutely a stud. I thought it was interesting how between Big T, Thurl, and Holly all talked about them just it'll be interesting to see in the next 3, 4, 5, 6 plus years how he's going to put on 20 pounds of good muscle and put it on right, kind of like how Gobert has, and just get bulky so they eventually, obviously the idea is to be able to throw your weight around, but throw it around smartly where you are being dominant in the paint and nobody's be able to push you around the way you don't want to. So I just can't wait for that, 5, 6, 7 years down the line when he's at that spot, and hopefully we still have him because I know he's going to be a stud. The other thing for me personally is I loved Nickeil Alexander-Walker tonight. I think he's really making bigger, better strides in reading defenses and being really good on the ball. I think he might be one of our top 5, if not higher than that, defensive players on the ball. And then, like I said, he's making really, really good reads on offense, between in the pick and roll and just by himself creating a shot and whatnot. So I think those are probably my 3 big highlights for tonight. It was a good game.
Yeah, Walker Kessler had a pretty big dunk in the first half, and then he almost had another huge one that turned out to be a block. I know that their coach was asking for a jump ball. They didn't get it, but then they went down and scored on the other end. Walker Kessler, I think the more and more minutes he gets, the more impressive he's going to become, and the more that he's going to learn things and develop his game offensively and defensively. I just think we got a steal in him on that deal. There's no way that they thought that he was going to be this good. I mean, if they did, then they shouldn't have included him in the deal. So just crazy that we got him and plus other players.
Well, and I almost wonder, going back to that trade, that Minnesota trade with Gobert, I really wonder how much information that Danny Ainge, Justin Zanuck, and the rest of the crew knew about each one of the players that they were getting. I wonder how well they knew the guys that they were getting and the possible potential that they could have with each guy. Because I'm willing to bet nobody had the ceiling on most of any of these guys. That's my bet.
Yeah. I mean,
I'd love to eat my words on that, but that's just my bet.
I mean, possibly Danny Ainge might have seen something with Kessler. I mean, he's a big body, so at least they could have said, "Hey, this guy can develop, or we can develop this guy." Yeah. So I don't know. Drafts are so hard anyways because you never know who's going to pan out. But
you would have to look at, if you just go back and watch this Auburn tape, because that's before the draft. I was like, I personally felt like Walker Kessler was going to be a stud because I seen that he can run.
Yeah.
Not only can he run, but he was averaging 4 blocks a game, and he didn't have the defensive IQ, which is natural. So with that being said, I just already felt like he can develop it into something, as in just at least a quality starter in the NBA. I already thought that. I don't know how far his potential could possibly be, but my player comp for his development and the way his game was looking, I already looked at him as like a Brook Lopez as of now. It's like the now Brook Lopez, not a early post up Brook Lopez, but Brook Lopez or Al Horford. I always looked at him like that when in the draft, that he could develop into something like that because he was kind of trying to shoot the perimeter and all that stuff. So I was kind of high on him over what other people were. So when I seen him come into that Timber and the Minnesota package, I was like, oh shit! I was like, all right, this is great.
See, I didn't watch him too much or pay attention too much on what was happening in college, but yeah, I mean, he's panning out, and honestly, the way that he moves and how fluid he is as a big man, I think he can be better than Lopez or Al Horford. I know that's probably saying a lot, and some people are saying, that's his ceiling, but he truly could be a 20-10 guy every single night if he learns how to be in the correct position, roll off screens, where to be rebounding.
I mean, it's possible he could be a Tim Duncan. Anything's possible.
No, I feel like he would be consistently around.
I'm saying it's
16 and 16 and 11.
Yeah, I feel that it's more likely that he'll be that good than unlikely. Obviously, anything can happen. But I
followed him in college, and in the knocks that I had on him coming into the draft are the same knocks that I have on him in the NBA. I was worried. I mean, he was bigger than everybody in college, and he still was only a 5 to 6 rebound a night guy in college.
But the dude led the he led college in blocks.
It doesn't matter. You got to be able to rebound in the NBA. Blocks are great. They're awesome. They're spectacular. They get your crowd on their feet. But people who block the ball who can't rebound don't stay in the league. People who rebound 12 to 15 times a night stay in the league for a long time.
You're not wrong.
So, that's always been my knock on Kessler. Now, with that said, he has shown massive improvements in the last month in his decision-making on defense, on picking his spots, on when to block and when to rebound. And if he continues that trend and he can become that 10 rebound a night guy, I think he has the ability to be a double-digit scorer. I don't know that he's a 20-point-a-night scorer. I don't know. I don't think the league really has very many 20-point big men left. I just don't think the league is that way anymore. I don't think you're going to see a lot of 20-point big men who can't shoot that 15-footer to three-pointer. But if he can be a double-double guy, if he can go at 12 points, 10 rebounds, he will be in 1 to 2 blocks a night. He will be one of the best bigs in the league, hands down. And I think he has the potential to be that. But he has got to become a double-digit rebounder, and I think he's well on his way. But he's got to continue to make smart choices, and that's why he fell so far in the draft. And that's, if you go back and you look at all of his scouting and you read all of his reports, great block, reads the block really, really well, challenges the ball, the shot, poor positioning on rebound, lets the block get him out of position on defense. He was so in love with the block, he just let it tear his defense apart and his rebounding apart. But he's been so good this last month that I have a lot of hope that I'm on the Kessler train with you. I'm absolutely on board. Choo-choo. I'm there with you. I'm there with
Someone
you.
hit the train noise on the spaces. Come on. Help us out. I know there's one.
Oh, I can't see it. Where is it?
There we go. I got it.
But no,
I'm crying. There really is one.
And I'm just gonna stay on my box while I got the mic before I give it back. I want to talk about Lauri tonight because I know you're gonna go there next. I think, man, Lauri was so good tonight, but I think he really is not an inside guy. His game is outside, and I think Lauri, in order for him to continue to be successful, he has to be at that 3-4 position.
Can we necessarily say that when at the beginning of the season, like the first, I don't know, like the first third of the season, he was really getting a lot of touches around the key, and he was being successful?
He was doing all right. I think I agree with you. I think it was, but I think, man, the more he gets outside, the more we make our offense around him getting outside. I think the better we are as a team. Because tonight, man, Kessler and Vando could do whatever the hell they wanted in the paint because they were terrified that they were going to get another 3 in their face. What did he hit 10 tonight? Did he get up to 10? 8, 9, 10?
13 threes, yep.
Yeah, 13.
13? How many did he make? 8?
9?
9 threes?
13.
Toot.
Holy hell. When he's doing that, it don't matter how good Vando is or how bad he is. I could have scored 12 points, and I'm 5'6". And that's the thing is, like, when he's playing that 3 and even that 4, that stretch 4, we are so good. So if Kessler continues to develop offensively enough where they can't just, let him do whatever he, just continue to guard Markkanen on the perimeter and just leave Kessler alone in the middle, we're going to be dangerous. Or we could go out and get a...
Hey, coaches, no more talking, coaches on!
That's a great team win. Second night of a back-to-back, 3 and 4. A lot of different guys contributed. Obviously, Lauri had an amazing game for us, really pushed us to kind of blow open the lead. But I thought that the way that Mike and Jordan played, making decisions, moving the ball, was tremendous. I thought Vando sparked us with his energy, moved the ball great tonight. Walker had some big plays on the interior. I thought our bench showed up, played very well tonight. So a good bounce back for us after 2 rough games. I thought that game looked and felt a lot more like the team that you guys have, gotten to know so far this year. Ball moving around, guys really, really competing on both ends. We do have moments where we're imperfect still, but I thought that our competitiveness really showed through. The team made a great adjustment by telling me not to do any more zone in the second half.
Yes.
They committed to playing man-to-man defense at a very high level in the second half, and I think that was a big part of the reason why we were able to win the game.
I actually wanted to ask about that. It looked like the zone, I think, was working the way it was supposed to, but you guys just weren't getting kind of ahead in that moment. Did you like what you saw out of it? And then, to your point, why did they not want to play the zone?
They didn't give me any reasons. We have been going back and forth between some man and some zone. And I thought, for the most part, our guys were competing and communicating. And, credit to Detroit, they made some tough shots. Ivey hit some tough shots against the zone, some runners and some pull-ups. And we had a couple moments where our rotations weren't great and gave up some threes. But I thought, for the most part, it changed the rhythm of how Detroit was playing offense, which was the biggest thing that we were going for. And at halftime, I came in and just asked the team if they wanted to continue with zone or if they wanted to go man, and they very quickly had clearly already had the conversation amongst themselves because they said man in like under a second. So I think that's great for them to take ownership of what they're most comfortable in as well. And I thought that, they did take ownership on that end, and our physicality and intensity and communication on the defensive end in the second half was very good.
How often does something like that happen where you go and you kind of just ask them what they would prefer?
There's definitely times where, as a coaching staff, we have things that we want to do and we have reasons for it, and we'll explain that to the team. And there's also moments where it is good for them to take ownership because they're seeing and feeling the game from a completely different perspective than we are. And some things to us may look simple and clean because I'm standing on the sideline, I'm standing still, and I'm not chasing anybody around, and nobody's banging into me, and I'm not tired. So sometimes there's things that seem simpler than they are, and so there's always a conversation, a constant dialogue going on with the team throughout the game about what they're seeing and feeling, and we do that in timeouts and dead balls. But there are moments where you need to ask the team what they're most comfortable in, because while I thought that the zone was taking some of the rhythm out of the game for Detroit, they were having some success against it. And so, I have to, in those moments, have enough self-awareness to know that it's not working perfectly. And if they start to lose belief in the zone, they might not be competing as hard in it or be flying around as much if they're not totally sold on it in that moment. And their conviction to want to go man was a really easy decision for us as a staff. And then, okay, you guys want to play man? Like, go show us. And they did a great job. So credit to them.
Lauri, obviously the standout skill.
Coach is talking a lot about the defense and the zone, which you brought up when we're doing Jazz halftime. And it's interesting because I think people...
So I want to get over to Dallin because we haven't heard from Dallin for quite some time. So request it up there, Braveheart. And
what Amari was about to say before you cut him off, Coach.
Oh, yeah. So Amari, go ahead, and then I wanted to talk about the zone defense real quick. Amari,
got it. But no, I don't remember what I was going to say. What exactly was we talking about?
I don't remember. I was just joking around, cutting you guys off about Coach.
I was going off about needing having Lauri play on the outside and how it just
oh yeah.
The middle and all
Okay. I personally feel like, sorry for the dog, but I personally feel like the way that we need to use Lauri is in the sense of kind of like how the Celtics kind of use Jason Tatum. Minus some of the ISO work, but I think a lot of the the off ball movement, kind of like low post up situations, because I think Jason Tatum get about maybe like 3 post ups a game, 3, 4, maybe.
Yeah.
But a lot of that off ball movement, getting him to run downhill off of like a handoff and stuff like that. I think we need to use. That's exactly what I think we really need to do to really like open up Lauri game is get him more on the handoffs, and in those situations, the game will open up a little bit more for the for like a another kick out or anything like that. But that lineup suggestion, now I remember exactly what I was going to say. I can imagine and looking maybe like about 3 years of development and a possibility between Kessler, and if we were to hold on to Jared Vanderbilt and have Lauri, learn more of this him being a number 1 or a number 2 option, doesn't really matter, but him getting a high volume of shots. If he was to, get a full off season to train as being a number 1 or a number 2, I can see how in 3 years that front court can be extremely dangerous for the entire league. Because Jared Vanderbilt is like he gives me a floor of Justice Winslow when Justice Winslow is playing extremely well, or like a poor man's Ben Simmons, which don't take that for a grain of salt, but we all know that Ben Simmons is an extremely high level basketball player. I feel like that's the kind of basketball that we can get out of Jared Vanderbilt. Walker Kessler, just in 3 years, he's just going to be like you see, he's already a solid NBA starter. To be honest with you.
So what does it take for Vanderbilt to be more consistent?
What would take?
He's got to stop guarding big men. He's got to stop.
Yeah, he's not a rim protector. He's not a rim protector. He's not a rim protector at all. That's the biggest thing. He's not a rim protector at all. And I think offensively, he just needs to learn how to just slow down and read the game a little bit more. Maybe be in position where Will Hardy would, allow him to be the ball handler at the top of the key and such. You get what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I think those type of situations because we've seen him be able to take the ball from the top of the key and just get to the cup at will sometimes. On a fast break, we see that he has some type of innate ability to really just speed up the game, and I think that's extremely valuable. And we have to remember the fact he's only 23 years old. Yes, he's been in the league for maybe like 4 or 5 years, but he's only 23. 24 is just about when people start to when players start to hit their stride and their prime. So I think we have a lot of basketball left out of Jared Vanderbilt if a package, doesn't sway to for him to definitely be traded. But I think Jared Vanderbilt is a great stay in this system if he gets to learn how to play basketball with Lauri and Walker Kessler.
Can't do it. I can't give Dawson Creek the satisfaction.
Dawson isn't here, so he's probably not listening either. Let's go over to Dallin. I know he requested in the middle of that. Maybe he can elaborate a little bit more on that or something else.
Yeah. Feed that man. Come on.
Vanderbilt?
That was amazing tonight, dude.
You're not talking about Vanderbilt.
No.
Okay.
Feed the man of Lauri.
Well, we were talking about Vanderbilt, so I was just a little confused.
Yeah, if some kind of combination of we're getting a first-round pick, he's gone in the first instant.
Do you think a first-round pick would get rid of Jared? I don't think so, because I think a lot of teams are starting to covet him.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think in our mind is probably worth the first-round pick because we call him number 8 half the time in the group chat. But I do think that around the league he has more value than we think as Jazz fans.
No, he is our best rebounder.
Definitely.
And that is very valuable. So don't get me wrong on that part. But everything else he does is makes me scratch my head sometimes, and that's being nice.
See, I can deal with him as long as he's like hustling hard and going hard. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with the mistakes. I'm fine with the fouls, whatever. But it's when he's just kind of lollygagging around and just barely running up and down the court. That's when I can't take it.
It's because he's got a brain that's for a box of rocks, and the dude gets come here. Like, think about it. We know he's not the smartest cat in the world, and you all, I'm sure everybody here plays basketball.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what it would be like?
NBA 2K.
No. Can you imagine what it would be like to be forced night after night to guard dudes that are freaking 6-7 inches taller than you and 30 pounds heavier than you, beating the shit out of you every night? It's demoralizing.
Yeah, that is true.
I'm with you there, Kevin. I agree that he shouldn't be guarding the big.
If you ain't smart enough or have the character in between your ears to handle that, you're just going to give up. And I think that's what happens to him. I think he just gives up because he's getting beat up.
I think he's an excellent wing defender, as in the 2 through the 4. Yeah. I think that's where his pocket's really at. Like maybe like if Lauri's having a terrible matchup defensively, like going against two, let's say KD and no, I can't say KD. Well, KD and maybe like who's on the Nets just like a Joe Harris. If Lauri can sit there and be guarding Joe Harris and Vanderbilt be throwing on to KD, that's an excellent situation.
No, and I'm okay with sometimes he gets switched on to the big guy. I'm okay with his defense that way. But if it's constantly every single possession, then yeah, he's going to get torn apart. And so, yeah, that was my assessment of Vanderbilt. So.
Yeah,
in the coach's defense, he doesn't have a lot of choice.
Yeah,
he's got to put Vando on big guys because I love Lauri, I do, but Lauri can't guard anyone to save his life.
Yeah. So that was going to be my next question. Like in the draft or in a trade, what does this team need? Is it that guy that can guard the 4 or bang in the post to give Kessler a rest, or do we need a backup point guard more? Do we need a future point guard and get rid of Mike Conley? Like what do you guys want to see the most? If there were a trade to happen today, or let's just say the draft was today, what would you want?
An effective.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Dom.
An effective backup big, I think, is more hard to find than backup point guards or wings. So if you can find an effective backup big that plays defense and plays good 15-minute spot behind Kessler, then yeah.
I feel like a guy like Mason Plumlee would be a great add-on to somebody who like a big who's not, he's just effective. He's an effective passer. He's a decent defender, decent rebounder, just somebody who could just glue it in and glue everything together. I think somebody like that would be excellent for this team.
You know who comes to mind that we had in the beginning of the season and ended up cutting?
Oh, what's his name? He has a brother too that played in the league.
He's an older guy.
Yeah.
But think of
Zeller.
Yep, Zeller.
Yeah, Cody Zeller would have been excellent right now.
Yeah.
Excellent.
But I mean, let's. If you cut Cody Zeller, then it's obviously Balmero that's gone, right?
I have no problem with that.
I don't care about Balmero. Balmero's all over.
Yeah, I don't have a care for Balmero. I don't have any care for Agbaji too much. I don't feel Agbaji.
But as Kevin and I talked about, I think Danny's on a 48-month window, not a 12-month window. So Balmero fits that more.
Yeah, the cuts this season in the preseason were all about the contracts. You saw each guy, it was the lowest contract so that the Jazz didn't have to pay out.
Yeah, I think we had like
money.
17 guaranteed contracts, 17 to 18. So yeah, somebody had to go.
Yeah,
somebody had.
But I mean, I'm saying you cut Saban Lee, you cut Jared Butler, you cut Zeller. All those guys had the lowest contracts out of anyone that was on the roster at that time. So it was.
What does Armani and Kevin think about who we should draft as far as those two picks?
Who should we draft?
If you guys would have joined last night, we went into this in depth, didn't we, Kevin?
Oh, I missed it.
We talked about it in depth, and
don't worry, it's on the YouTube channel, guys. You can go back and listen.
And I don't think we'll get a high enough draft pick, but I think Brandon Miller would be a really good fit next to next to Lauri and Kessler. I think he would fit in there really nice and really shore us up defensively. And you could move number 8 to like the 2 and let him guard the guards. I think that would really put us good defensively.
Is he the one?
I would really love to get. I would love to get a Sword Thompson, the other brother, not the one that's a point guard, but the other one. He's a strong wing. He plays real wing basketball, and he's starting to learn how to come off the ball shooting. I think if we was to get him, and he's like 18, imagine that developing. Like he's twitchy. He's just almost just as twitchy as his brother. He loves to play defense. He's a decent rebounder. I think that's a guy that I think we need. I think we need a shooting guard. That's the one thing I really feel like we need. I don't think point guard. Here's the thing. If Collin Sexton, because as much as I shit on Collin Sexton, he is a guard who can go get you 20. So. Yeah. In this system, I don't necessarily care if we have a high assist guy in this system at all, because it's just an equal opportunity offense. So if we can have as many guys who can score off the ball as possible, and we'll be in a good position. I think we need a lot of off-ball players on the team, and somebody like Collin Sexton, and I like how we're developing Noah. So I think maybe we'll get like another guard who can
like Grady Dick?
No.
No? You don't like him?
No, I don't. No. See, he's cool, but I just think he's a position.
Yeah, I think
there's only one point guard in this draft that if he fell to us, I couldn't pass up on.
Anthony Black.
And that's Anthony Black.
Oh, yeah.
I could pass up on Anthony Black.
What about G.G. Jackson? He's a point guard?
No, G.G. Jackson is a wing. He's a wing.
Oh,
he's playing stellar basketball right now. I'll say the one point guard that I look at. Well, he's not a point guard. Well, he's a combo guard. But what's his name? Keontae George. Keontae George.
He's going like top 5.
He reminds me of what Markelle Fultz was. It depends. He could be top 5. He can end up being around the 10, the 10 marker. So it's like
And see, I'm higher on Black because I think he's a better defensive guard than George.
Yeah, I mean, but see, George is so much of a very special shot creator, especially at his age, that it's like, do you really want to give that up?
No, I get it, but I think Black is the best combination of defense.
He's a facilitator too, Black.
And facilitation. I don't know. Amon is really.
Yeah, I kind of want somebody who's kind of aggressive at this point.
Yeah.
Because we've seen how this offense look as somebody that's being aggressive. I don't think Anthony Black will be any type of aggressive, honestly. As much as I love Mike Conley, what he brings to the table for the team, as much as I do believe he's the second best player on the team, would I love to have an aggressive point guard? Yes.
Yeah, honestly, I'm at the point where I love Mike Conley, I love Jordan Clarkson, but I'm ready for them to be traded because
where to go?
I just want to see the guys that are here and developing. Like I really enjoy watching Nah develop. Even THT, I wish he would be getting more minutes. And if we get rid of those guys, whether it's draft picks or a piece that will help us this year, it'll allow us to kind of see what those guys can do. And I don't think every fan's like that. I love watching players develop and seeing where they came from. It's just fun for me. So right now,
my hot take last night, though, Mari.
What's your hot take?
My hot take. I think Scoot's slipping out of the number 2 spot.
No, he's not. No. Two.
Amen.
No. Because you know why?
I can see it happening. I can see it happening.
It won't happen. The reason why it won't happen is because who's been playing versus Amen or Amen, I don't really know how to pronounce it. Playing against a lot of scrub high school players. Not scrub, but just lower level high school players. They're like second tier high school players.
So here's why I think, and I don't think it's going to happen in the end. I think the only way it does happen is if he continues this trend. His last 2 games, he shot less than 20% from the 3-point line. And last season, he shot less than 20% for the whole season. Scoot.
Okay, all right.
So if he continues this trend and continues to struggle from the 3, like he did last season, it's really going to hurt him.
But Amen is going to struggle from the 3, definitely. Because he can't really shoot the high school 3.
He's actually shooting really well right now. I don't know if it's going to stay. It's just right now, Amon's trending up, and he's got that size that everybody loves.
Yeah, he has size, and he has a special twitch.
Yeah.
To his athleticism.
I don't, and here's why I think he may go number 2. I think someone's going to trade up for it. I don't think who has number 2 is going to take it. I think somebody's going to be stupid and do what happened with Jason Tatum, and someone's going to trade up and take him at number 2, and get skewed at 3. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always that one idiot. Yeah. There's always that one idiot who really just values size and potential more than what the eye tells you is
because school is going to be a problem. That's true.
And so that was what my hot take was, and I could be totally wrong, but I just watched enough NBA drafts and listened to enough scouts. I just see someone who's at like 4 or 5 who just really doesn't think they can get Amen at 3, who says, I'm going to sell out, move up to 2, take him at 2, and whoever has number 2 is going to slide down to 3 and take Scoot at 3.
But I also feel like, I think that's actually maybe like 2 to 3 plays. I feel like there's 2 to 3 plays that can possibly jump up to the number 3 prospect.
Nick Smith could. I mean, he's looking really good in the first game.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think Nick Smith might go top 5. I feel like Nick Smith and Keontae George is a flip for who's going to be top 5. But what is his name? Cam Whitmore might end up being number 3.
You know, I need to watch him because
he's a big truck.
So I haven't watched a lot of him. Everyone keeps dropping his name. I haven't seen any of his games, so I need to watch him because everyone keeps dropping his name. But
he reminds me of Paolo.
But I thought he was a little undersized for what he's been playing, but I'm going to watch him.
Where's he out of? What school is Whitmore?
Villanova.
Yep.
I saw him posted as a 6'7" power forward.
Is he a freshman or what?
Freshman.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I thought he was just a little undersized, but he's putting up big numbers. So I'm going to watch a couple games and see what happens. Like, I'm excited to see him. So
yeah, but I feel like he could play 3.
Maybe. I don't know. I need to watch him.
That the 3 is solid.
I need to watch him. I can't speak to him. So, but
he's strong.
You're not the first person I've heard say that he's just.
I haven't watched an ounce of him.
When you watch him and just think about the game that he has and how it could possibly develop just 3 years from now, that man, he plays like a grown man. He plays like a grown man. Like the same tenacity that you feel watching Paolo Banchero. Same thing. It's like, ugh.
I would love that. So I feel like a lot of times when we get into this draft talk, like I don't know how realistic it is that we're going to get one of these top 10 guys. The guy that I'm high on, the guy that I'm high on that I feel like is super realistic is Jet Howard from Michigan.
You love Jet Howard?
I like him. I mean, I've only watched one game.
Is it a lottery pick?
Yeah, my thing is, if we take Jet Howard any higher than like 18 or 20,
he'd be.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm thinking like 17 is where I've seen him most. Like,
okay, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, not top 10, not top 10. If it's top 10, I'm saying these other guys.
Honestly, I think we can get Jet Howard with the Brooklyn pick because I think he'll go mid-20s, honestly.
And then the other guy that's a shooter, we talked about last night, the kid from Kansas. They said that.
Oh God,
no, he's a shooter. Man, his name's slipping my mind now. He's on the video that we did last night, Kevin. You remember? Because we dove into the big kid from Purdue, Zach Edey, and I just don't see it. I don't see. He's too slow.
I don't see it.
So I don't know. It sounds like Marty, you follow a lot of college basketball. There's a name that I've been hearing recently that I didn't really hear much in the preseason. And I don't know why I don't know. Have you out of Kentucky, Cason Wallace?
Oh,
yeah, he's good, dude.
You know what?
I like him. You don't like him?
He's good. No, I like him, but I don't know if he's a rotational player. Like I
feel like those Kentucky.
I'll tell you what. I used to watch and even like all the way back then, and even he reminds me like he could be Patrick Beverly or Drew Holiday.
Isn't he a little undersized? Isn't he like a small guy?
Yeah, but he's like a Cam Smart. He's like a what's a smart kid from Boston? Marcus Smart and Drew Holiday kind of mix. I think he's a little bit better.
Someone said he could be a top 5 pick. I was reading an article.
Yeah, it was Tony Jones, I'm pretty sure.
It's a possibility, but like I wouldn't want out.
Man, I would take him. I would take someone that can defend and run your point. Because he's somebody that could go. He may be undersized, but he's one of those guys that can guard someone that's bigger than him.
I think he's 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah. Probably, but
I think he's like 200 pounds, like 200, 110 pounds.
He reminds me a little bit of Jay Crowder too defensively, so it's just like that nastiness you need.
Right. Exactly. Just a tough.
Yeah. I really need to watch some college basketball.
We watch Casey Wiles. Casey Wiles, he's a very strong defender.
Yeah,
I
he's stocky.
Kentucky ball because I don't like Calipari, but I'm going to have to watch him.
I don't blame you.
Well, the talk is Calipari's on his way out, but who knows?
I don't like the way he approaches the game. I don't think he's a...
I don't. Yeah, his head's on the chopping block. I think a lot of Kentucky fans don't like him. When he had that documentary series, and I watched almost every, I can't even remember the name of it now. It was years ago, but really it was just a recruiting tool. And I hated how he coached, man. He just yelled at these kids and just made them feel like complete idiots.
Right. I do think that his coaching style is starting to like
Yes.
I do believe that.
So let's bring this back to the Jazz real quick because well, yeah, we are. But next game we've got the Washington Wizards. They've only won 11 games. Did we beat? No, they beat. Yeah, they beat us last game, didn't they?
Yes, they did. Yes.
Okay, so we're going back home. Yeah, this to me it should be an easy win, and then we head back out for another 3-game road trip.
I won't say easy.
Oh, I feel like after those last.
I will say it might look tough now because